it's Noelle Toland, and you're listening to On the Fly with Stevie.
Hey, this is UNC Tar Heel, Pete Chilcutt, and you're listening to The Final Score with Stevie Fly.
You are listening to On the Fly.
What's up, guys? It's On the Fly, the Final Score, the Monday morning wake-up call. Hope you guys are doing all right. Like I said before, your Monday is the start of your work week, and Monday is a break for me. I got today off. It's been a long week, guys. Sorry we haven't been as active last week. Last week was a busy week for me. So hopefully we'll get things back on track, and today we'll start with the Monday morning wake up. And first of all, I did not make a post yesterday. I'm telling you guys, it's been like 11-hour days for me since Tuesday. And when I get home, I take care of what I've got to take care of, and I'd have not posted as much here lately as I wanted to, but it's been, like I said, it's just been a long week, and today I got a couple of days off in a row, hopefully, and so try to catch up on things. Maybe this week won't be as bad as last week. Mother's Day is always busy leading up to Mother's Day where I work. If you don't know, I'm a meat cutter and a meat manager. So yeah, it was a little bit going on last week. Anyway, that being said, yesterday, Mother's Day. Hope you mothers out there had a great Mother's Day. Hope you had the best one yet. You know, I don't know what I'd do without my mom. I've been fortunate enough to have her here. She's coming up on, as a matter of fact, 2 weeks from now, a little bit less than 2 weeks now. Will be her 80th birthday, and you know, she's been one of my rocks through my whole life. I mean, I'm definitely a mama's boy. And no shame in saying that. You know, I know a lot of people back in the day, like, oh, you're a mama's boy. No, I don't have any shame saying, yeah, I'm a mama's boy. She is, not saying I wasn't close to my dad at all. I was really close to my dad as well, but we had a different relationship than my mom. It was kind of like we talked about pretty much not everything, but, you know, we talked about a lot. We had a lot of the same interest as each other, but, you know, to all the mothers out there that I know, even the ones I didn't know, I hope you guys just had a great Mother's Day. Mothers are, I mean, you bring us into this world. I can't know that feeling. To my wife, I wish you a happy Mother's Day. I love you very much. You gave me the best gift ever when you gave me my daughter. When, you know, she is, I mean, the apple of my eye, and I'm so proud of her. And I'm not going to get all mushy and emotional right now, but yeah, my daughter Mallory, she is just incredible. It's what I've always dreamed of. I mean, I remember even before I met my wife, watching the remake of Father of the Bride with Steve Martin, and seeing that the first time, and at that moment, you know, every guy I think wants a son. That's no doubt about that. I mean, but I said if I had my choice, I wanted to have a daughter first, you know, and that's what I got. I mean, God looked out for me there. He answered my prayer there, and you know, as far as sons go, I've coached for 15 years. I feel like I've got many sons out there that, you know, they may not be with me every day in person, but, you know, I think about all of them a lot, and they've been like sons over the last 15 years to me, and hopefully I got a little bit more, some more sons to go. But anyway, pretty day yesterday. Hated to be trapped inside yesterday because it was such a pretty day outside. But today I went out a few minutes ago to let my dogs out. Like, who let the dogs out? And a little chilly outside. Actually, I think they're saying it's like, I'm not sure if that's correct on what I'm seeing up here on my, let's see. Yep, 49 degrees outside right now in the big metropolis of Alaska. Yeah, like I said, been an interesting week, guys. I've had a lot going on at work and just busy, which I'm glad to be busy. I'm glad to be working. But yeah, there's a lot going on that we need to talk about. Start off with the music world. And you know, I'm an 80s guy, some 90s guy, but music from the 80s, I think, is the greatest decade of music out there. And one of the bands that came along the end of the 80s, probably early 90s, was Skid Row. Now we all know, if you're a fan of that kind of music, you all know about Sebastian Bach, the outlandish lead singer, Skid Row, the original. When they really broke fame, they split in 1996, and there's been a lot of bad blood between them since. And all through the years has been, you know, when you see reunions happening, it starts a trend of, like, when Kiss got back together, bands saw what they were getting, what they were doing, and how much money they could. And even further, a little further back with the Eagles, bands saw maybe that. I think the Eagles actually came first. Yeah, the Eagles came before Kiss. Maybe Kiss saw that and said, we need to do that. They're making a killing. It's like hot. And every time a little trend starts with bands getting back together, there's always mention of Skid Row. Well, and now it's coming up again, and maybe started by Sebastian himself. I don't know. But, you know, Eric Grunwald, who took over as the lead singer for Skid Row a couple years ago and did the incredible album, which is a great Skid Row album. If you haven't listened to it, The Gang's All Here, left the band a few months back and was replaced temporarily on tour by Lizzie Hale from Hailstorm. Now, Sebastian's saying he has renewed optimism regarding a reunion with Skid Row. When he was on Eddie Trunk this past Thursday, I guess it was this past week, he made this comment. I found out something at the very last Kiss show that I did not know before the very last Kiss show. And it's a major piece of miscommunication. I need to communicate with Skid Row because there's been something that happened that is not accurate. I can't tell you what it is, but the whole narrative of they don't like me and I'm too crazy is complete BS. It's not true. There's been attempts to get us going again. I can just tell the world there's a good chance that'll happen because there's no effing reason not to. Because right now, why it hasn't happened is a miscommunication. That's all I can say. There's a miscommunication. I don't know. I don't know if this is going to happen or not, guys. I know there's still a lot of bad blood, but you never can tell. Who would ever thought Kiss would have got back together in '96, or the Eagles with the bad blood there? I guess if anything can happen, he said. He goes on to say, "I need to write a thoughtful email clearing up a miscommunication, but I have to make sure it's a perfect email, and I don't say anything wrong or make any jokes. I just don't have the energy to do that right now. But I know I need to do that. I've just got a lot on my plate right now." He's telling the truth. Recently released his solo album, Child Within the Man, which I haven't listened to yet. It's on my list. I've heard good things about it. He's got a solo tour scheduled through the end of July, which started. We'll talk a little bit about that. And meanwhile, like we said, Skid Row parted ways with Eric Grunwald earlier this year. Lizzie Hale is fronting the group for a handful of shows beginning May 17th. Hey, all you guys out there on Twitter, on the Final Score and on the Fly on Twitter, give me a comment in here. Let me know you're out there. I don't give me any comments from Twitter. Let me know you're out there if you're watching. Who knows? I mean, you're not hearing anything from the other side yet. That's that right there is the biggest hurdle. Is the other side, is the guys in Skid Row, Snake Sabo, you got, it's not just gonna have happen just because Sebastian said so. Rachel Bolan, Snake Sabo, they've got to agree. There's still a lot of bad blood there, guys. There's still a lot of anger. And what this miscommunication is, I don't know how all of a sudden he found out at the last Kiss show. I'm interested to see what that's all about. But yeah, he is on tour now. He started his tour. Let's see. Hold on. North American tour. Let's see what his set list is. I'm always interested, guys, to see what these guys play. All right. So yeah, as you can imagine, you can't see it, a lot of Skid Row songs up here. He starts off with "What Do I Got to Lose?" This was May the 10th at Southport Music Hall in Jefferson, Louisiana. Starts off with "What Do I Got to Lose?" Making a Mess, Skid Row song. Big Guns, Skid Row song. Sweet Little Sister, Skid Row song. 18 in Life, of course, that's a Skid Row hit. Can't Stand the Heartache, great Skid Row song. Piece of Me, Skid Row song. Everybody Bleeds, not a Skid Row song. Slave to the Grind, yeah, we know. Threat, Rattlesnake Shake, Monkey Business, I Remember You at Youth Gone Wild. So this set list is very predominantly Skid Row stuff. He's only got 2 songs that aren't Skid Row songs. You're touring for a new album. Well, I mean, I know you want to give the people what they want, and this is part of your legacy, but two songs, and I don't even know if they're off the album. I really don't. I have not. Let me look real quick to see if that's on his album. Like I said, I have not. It's on my list, and I've got to reload my list because I've run out. All right. Everybody Bleeds and What Do I Got to Lose are on the new album. So only 2 songs from the new album are up there. So, I mean, is he trying to send a hint out to the guys from Skid Row and say, hey, I can still do this, no doubt? What are you doing? Are you really trying to send that out? But Sebastian is apparently on board, talking about he has dreams about Skid Row getting back together, and then nightmares that they get back together and they go back at it again. I mean, a lot of these bands that do that, guys, like Kiss, for instance, the bad blood usually makes its way back. The Eagles the same way with Don Felder. And sometimes, most of the time, it's all about the cash. And I know that's what they do for a living, but, just like with Kiss, I'm a huge, huge, huge Kiss fan. Is my, no doubt, favorite band of all time. And I just can't get past the fact that you dislike each other so much that when you get the ultimate honor, and I mean, I know the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is a joke, but you get that honor, and that is a great honor for any band to get in there. And you can't get along long enough to play one song, and you make these snide comments. You're 70-year-old men making snide comments back and forth at each other. I mean, grow up, guys. Grow up. You couldn't even get it back together to honor your members for the last show. So Sebastian's on tour. Somebody else made an appearance. And guys, let me tell you, I think the last time I was up here, I talked about Wolfgang Van Halen doing the Behind the Music, and I have not watched it yet. I will not give too much away because that will be an episode of On the Fly right there. All I can say is even if you don't have, I think it's Paramount, the app, Paramount, try it, get a free trial if they give it away. And if you're a fan of any of that kind of music, Van Halen or Wolfie, you need to go check it out. It is one of the best. I've watched a majority, I would say 95% of the behind the musics. And that one is probably, if not the best one, it's definitely in my top 3. That's something I need to do sometime too, is do a behind the music recap of everything and rank them. That's not a bad idea if I don't say so myself. But Wolfie makes a special appearance. You know, we talked about the Foo Fighters being on tour. He made an unexpected appearance during the Foo Fighters headline and said at Welcome to Rockville on May 11th. He performed parts of the classic Van Halen 2's Eruption and Hot for Teacher. Now, Wolfie went on record saying, I'm not going to play the Van Halen stuff, and I don't want to do that. But with the Taylor Hawkins a while back, with the Taylor Hawkins tribute show, Dave Grohl asked him about doing it because Taylor Hawkins was such a huge Van Halen fan, and he got out, played it. And let me tell you guys, if you haven't seen that performance, you need to check that out too, because Wolfie, for all the crap that people gave him when he first joined Van Halen about, the only reason you were in Van Halen is because of your dad, you're Eddie Van Halen's son, you're not really playing, stuff like that. The guy's talented. He's mega talented. And he's taken, I know the comparison is going to always be there. He's taken that route of his dad because he plays so many instruments. The first album, he played every instrument on that album. He sang and played every instrument that was played on that album. If you have not listened to any of the Mammoth WVH, I was about to say it backwards, albums, you need to check them out because they are great albums. I mean, he does a fantastic job. And I was very skeptical going into listening to the first one on how I was going to feel about it, because I myself was like, maybe this is just because of the Van Halen legacy. Maybe it is, but my opinion changed quickly after that first album, and finding out he played all the instruments. Wolfie does a great job. I'm a big Wolfie fan. I mean, and when you watch this behind the music, and when we do the episode and we talk about it, it's incredible. I mean, I can't say enough about that. I did send a message out to one of the guys that worked on that episode, saying how it was one of my favorites of all time. So yeah, surprise came roughly halfway through the Foo Fighters set, when Dave Grohl typically sees the spotlight to his bandmates for a medley of cover songs and extended solos. Why don't more bands do that? It's fun. I mean, I know a lot of bands do it, but it's just fun to hear something, a surprise. It's not the same set list that you've heard for the last 20 years like some bands do. Some bands that I love to death that played the same set list for about 20 years straight. I'm not saying any names, KISS, but it's just great. You never know who gets a effing solo. Me, I'll never get to effing solo Grohl bemoan. All right, ready? Here we go. Grohl then declared as he crouched and seemingly began tearing into Eruption, the Eruption instrumental, and he appeared to be crushing solo until he raised both arms, revealed he wasn't the one playing. Camera then cut to Wolfgang standing backstage performing his father's famous tune. So he made a joke. He said, "Dude, I told you to keep that cool. Wolfie, what the F you doing right now? Everybody give it up for Wolfgang Van Halen." He then rocked to a portion of Hot for Teacher with the Foo Fighters drummer Josh Freese. Don't even get us started on that Van Halen shit. We'll play all that shit all night long. They got back to their old material, dedicating My Hero to Wolfgang and Eddie, which, and like I said, as much as I say about Wolfie being such an incredible, and I'm such a big fan of Wolfie, Dave Grohl, I mean, what can you say about Dave Grohl? He's incredible. I mean, he is just one of the best guys in music. Fight me on that. Fight me on that, people. I love Dave Grohl, and big Foo Fighters fan. Let's see here. Let's get back. There was somebody else started their tour. Isn't it great though, guys? You think about, I went on a binge. I listened to podcasts while I'm working. And I went on just like a whole, excuse me, binge listened to one of my podcasts that I listen to a lot because I'm a Kiss fan. Podcast Rock City, Joe Anthony Polo, Sonny Pooney, Joey Casada, and I'm sorry, Lee, I can't think of your last name right now, but they do a great job. I went back listening as far back as 2020. I went through the whole COVID thing, and they were talking about one of the episodes I listened to yesterday. They were talking about, and this was when all the uncertainty of that freaking COVID was, you didn't really know at the time. And they were talking about rumors going on that there would be no events, music events, or any kind of events for up to 18 months. And you were like, what the heck? I mean, and I'm sitting here looking at this morning when I was going through stuff to see what I was going to talk about this morning. Sorry, I had a Joey Tribbiani smell the fart moment there. But yeah, it's amazing. And I just love seeing these artists that are going on tour. The tours are really starting up with the warmer weather. Rolling Stones they were in Vegas. They did their tour debut in Vegas. And let's look at their set list. I love looking at set lists, guys, if you haven't noticed. This was at Allegiant Stadium, May the 11th. So Saturday night at Allegiant Stadium, Las Vegas. They played 19 songs. So let's see what they got here. Start Me Up, Get Off of My Cloud, Let's Spend the Night Together, Angry, Like a Rolling Stone, a Bob Dylan cover, You Got Me Rockin', which was a fan-voted song. Yes, this is what I love. I mean, I'm not the biggest Rolling Stone fan. I'm not crazy about I like some of the songs, and not just the hits, but there's some of the deep cuts that I listen to on this album challenge that I like. But I love the fact that they do that on tour. They let the fans vote and add that song to the set list. That's something that, I mean, I know Metallica does the whole 2 nights in a row you don't hear the same song. And I know what these bands say, well, some of these people come and they want to hear the hits. That's great. You don't have to take the hits out. You can add a song. You can take one of the least known songs out and switch it out. You don't have to play it. And well, we've got it set up where the video and everything, the click play and all that is set up for that set list. Set it up again. Have an alternative set up. Jeez. I mean, I don't know. I don't pretend to know how hard it is. I'm not in that business, but geez, come on, guys. These guys, especially in this day and time, and I know this is what you do, it's your livelihood, but these people pay a lot of money to come see you play. And they don't want the same thing. Let's say a person goes to the same tour twice. You don't want to hear the same stuff over and over again, but I guess you take that chance. That's what you get paid for. So, I don't know. Let's see. Mess It Up, Tumbling Dice. You can't always get what you want. You got the Silver, which is Keith Richards on vocals, and a little TNA Richards on vocals as that as well. Sympathy for the Devil, Honky Tonk Women, Miss You, Gimme Shelter. I love that song. Painted Black, Jumpin' Jack Flash, and the encore they did Sweet Sounds of Heaven and I Can't Get No Satisfaction. So Rolling Stone's still out there doing it. Who knows how old these guys are, but man, they're still doing it. And hats off to all of them for being able to do it. I want to talk about, we mentioned the Hall of Fame a little bit before we get to another. And the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame just did they announced the inductees, I guess, for this year's class. And one of them was the MC5. And I'm not familiar with MC5. Really not. I know I'm probably behind the times or something, but I'm not familiar with MC5. Dee Snider and Dee Snider is famously the lead singer for Twisted Sister. He wrote on Twitter or X, whatever you want to know. Dear Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, there are bands who you know are going to eventually be inducted because of their huge influence. How about not waiting till the entire band is dead? Great point by Dee Snider, because MC5's last original member died. Dennis Thompson, the last classic era member of the legendary proto-punk band, died on Thursday at the age of 75. Now, I mean, I've said this about every Hall of Fame. You know, I've talked about the Sports Hall of Fame, WWE Hall of Fame. We talked about Ivan Koloff never getting it, still hasn't got in. And I mean, this guy is a freaking former world heavyweight champion. He ended the longest reign of any champion with Bruno Sammartino. He's a multiple world champion across many federations. And you guys won't put him in. And I told you guys about the conversation I had with Mr. Koloff the last time I saw him. It was his birthday, the last birthday he had, and he was at an event that I was helping with. And we talked about it. I said, you think you'll get in the Hall of Fame this year? He said, well, if I don't, me and the younger McMahon are talking about Vince, Vince, who is no longer with the company. We're going to have a long talk. So never got in unfortunately before he passed. And I still champion that cause to this day that Ivan Koloff should be in that Hall of Fame. There's no question. It's just unfathomable. Yeah, word of the day, toilet paper. That he's not in that Hall of Fame. It's a travesty, and I will champion that cause. I will argue with anybody about that. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, same with these bands. You're keeping a lot of these bands out, and then it seems like with a lot of these Hall of Fames, when one of them passed away, oh God, we got to put them in now. We got to put them in now. It's just like when somebody passes away, anybody passes away, and everybody talks about, oh, he was so great, and I wish I told. Well, why didn't you tell them while they were here? I wish I'd have told them this. Tell them while they're here. Let them smell their flowers while they're here, guys. I mean, I'm probably guilty of it too, but I try to do that more than I used to. I try to tell people, and I'm not going to get into the whole emotional thing. I do try to tell people how important they are to me, and I try to tell everybody that I love them. You know, when I'm leaving somebody that I really love, really care for, family, friends, I'll tell them. I'm not afraid to tell them. My football team, I tell those guys I love them. I tell them, because you don't know. I mean, I could step out of here today and drop dead, or somebody could leave. I could see them for the last time. You don't know when that last time is going to be. When you see somebody, and you're like, I wish I hate the last thing I told them was this, or I didn't tell them I love them for. Do it. What's it going to hurt, guys? You may look, a simple word of encouragement, or just a simple word like, hey, how you doing? Or, hey, did a good job, or did something like that, can turn somebody's whole day around. You just don't know. Anyway, I'm going to get off that. I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, get these guys in the Hall of Fame before they pass away. Football, basketball, baseball, wrestling, music, movie, whatever. Get them in the Hall of Fame before something happens to them and it's too late, that they can't enjoy it. All right. I promise you, we don't have many more of this music. We're getting a little bit of sports for you sports guys out there. Pat Benatar, the legendary Pat Benatar. And it's funny, my my daughter and one of her friends, her friends was over here last night, and we were talking. They were talking about a game or something, and it was kind of like you could play something like it's a mini game on that. You could play Guitar Hero, which hey, all you Xbox, PlayStation, whoever, Nintendo, why aren't you making Guitar Hero or Band Hero anymore? That game was freaking awesome. You really need to do that again. And I'm behind the times on video games, guys. If there's something out there that I don't know about, just shoot me. But we were talking about. I asked him. He said, "Yeah, I played it." And he said, "I said, well, what are the songs that you played?" He said, "Well, one of the songs I like playing was Heartbreaker." And I was like, I knew the first thing that popped in my mind was Pat Benatar. And I was like, well, maybe it's a newer song that I don't know about. But he was like, yeah, Pat Benatar. And I was like, oh, wow. I said, I love Pat Benatar. And he was like, yeah, I like some of her songs too. So, and, you know, a lot of these kids, guys, whether you know it or not, if you're out of touch with some of these kids, yeah, they like the new music, but they also are like the retro stuff a lot too. I was surprised at that a few years back with some of my football team was playing a lot of the stuff that I listened to back in the day, like their workouts. Yeah, I'm enjoying, guys. You have your coffee. Today I'm drinking Lipton Brisk Sweet Iced Tea. That's great too. I have totally, and I guess I see it in my face a little bit. I've lost a little weight, which I was trying to do. I can't stand my cheeks looking like I'm storing nut like a squirrel, and that's what they were looking like for a while. So I've been doing a lot of running. I ran a lot back in a few years ago, and I got out of it with stuff that was going on, like with my dad stuff. I didn't have time to really do a lot of the running and stuff. And I've got into trying to get back into the running, and I'm slowly getting there with walking and running a little bit. But, you know, I've done that. I've cut out like soft drinks. I'll drink a Sprite, a ginger ale, but mostly a sweet tea and water. But yeah, I don't know if I'm imagining things or what, but it does look like I've lost some weight. So I'm tired of myself. Pat Benatar set list. She played Friday night at the Thunder Valley Casino Resort in Lincoln, California. Not a long set list. She started off with All Fired Up, Sex as a Weapon, We Live for Love, Promises in the Dark, Girl, We Belong, Strawberry Wine. I wonder if that's Deanna Carter. I have to check that out. Invincible from, what was it, The Legend of Billie Jean movie. Shadows of the Night, Hell is for Children, You Better Run, and Love is a Battlefield. Hold on. Oh, Encores. I was getting ready. Wow. Encores, Helter Skelter, Beatles cover, Everybody Lay Down, and then Heartbreaker / Ring of Fire. She did not play Hit Me With Your Best Shot. I wonder if that's fatigue for her. Wow. Let's see. Let's see if it says anything in this. No, evidently she doesn't like playing Hit Me With Your Best Shot anymore. But wow. I'm like shocked at that. That's like, I mean, arguably that put her on the map, because I remember hearing that so many weeks in a row on Casey Kasem's American Top 40. And that's like, I don't know how to compare that to somebody not playing one of their biggest hits. But anyway, moving on, guys. And this is good. And you may see me on another podcast coming up soon. And we're going to, and we'll probably do it on the fly as well. The Bon Jovi documentary, which we talked about. I got the free trial of Hulu. I've started watching it, and I've got half. I started watching it one night, and then I had something come up, and I said to stop, and I haven't got back to it. Saturday night, I started watching. I take my hat off to him for putting all this stuff out there. I mean, everybody knows over the past few years about his voice struggles, and I know he has had some surgeries recently. What those surgeries were, I don't know, but to put it out there, and this was a no makeup Bon Jovi. The guy's aged a lot. I mean, I know he's in his 60s. He's aged a lot. The gray hair is there, which that's been there. And I'm not going to give away too much because I don't want to talk about it until we do the episode. But I take my hat off to him for letting people in. Just the first 30 minutes I saw, and he let people in to where a lot of people in that position wouldn't have. So respect so far for John Bon Jovi for putting his struggle out there that he's going through right now, because this has been his livelihood. And, I'll leave it at that. But if you get a chance to watch it, guys, and be ready for a episode of On the Fly, and possibly another podcast that I'll cross over to that I've been talking about this documentary. But yeah, like I said, I didn't watch, but the first few minutes first maybe 20 minutes of it, and I was like, okay. All right, before we get to sports, one of my favorite trilogies of movies, and no, I'm not talking about Star Wars, because that is the ultimate trilogy of movies for me, The Mummy. And I'm not talking about the crappy one with Tom Cruise. I'm talking about Brendan Fraser. Rachel Weisz was in it. And then, and no offense to that lady that played, what's her name? Mariah Bello took Rachel Weisz's place in the third episode, The Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. No offense to her, but the chemistry between Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz was so incredible. And that's what sucked me into the first two. I've watched the first two over and over again. I have watched the third one a few times, and it's okay. It's not to the level of the first two for me, though. There's talk about maybe making a fourth with Brendan Fraser. And when asked about it, he said, not that I know of. All the people at Universal are new after I left. I don't really know them, and they haven't got a hold of me, so I don't know what's in their heads. At the same time, it will be something really special. Of course, I will work with all those actors again. That was, Summers. That was the director, Stephen Summers, who did the first three. So that was him talking about that. Brendan Fraser is actually on board. I mean, he was like, I'm sorry, I misread his quote. He said, sounds like fun. I'm always looking for a job. If anyone's got the right conceit, I think I've never been as famous and never have been as unsalaried at the moment as I am right now. So spread the word. So can it happen? He said, their interest, despite their interest, it has a number of hurdles. One of the biggest challenges it has to overcome is the financial one, particularly after the Tom Cruise-led reboot infamously became a critical and commercial flop in its 2017 release. They should have left it alone. Leave some of these movies alone. It lost the studio reportedly upwards of $95 million. The third one, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, was similarly considered an underperformer. Still a success. Looking at the box office, the critical score, audience score for the first Mummy was 75%. The budget on that was $80 million. Box office $417 million. So yeah, it made some money. Mummy Returns, 63% audience score, $98 million budget, $435 million box office score. The Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, 30% audience score, $145 million budget, $403 million at the box office. I was not the fan of the Tom Cruise one at all. I don't know. Tom Cruise has done some great movies, but that one was not something I wanted to see. Anyway, so hopefully we'll see something maybe in the future coming up soon. Maybe they'll have some talks and get that redone. Maybe a fourth Mummy. And I'm not talking about. I don't want to see a reboot of the first three. Get an original idea out there. Just glancing, not much in sports news right now for a guy like me. I'm an NFL fan. Like I said, the NBA, not a big fan of the NBA. I don't follow hockey that much except the Hurricanes, who were on the brink of elimination Saturday night and got a win against the Rangers. Hopefully they can make an incredible comeback. They're down 3-1. So hopefully they can make a comeback and overtake the Rangers. NBA playoffs right now, we're down to the final 8. What we got? Oklahoma Thunder and the Dallas Mavericks. The Mavericks lead that series 2-1 after getting a big win. I think that was Saturday night. Timberwolves and Nuggets are tied 2 games apiece. Nuggets got the win yesterday, I believe. Celtics and Cavs. The Celtics won Saturday night convincingly. They've got a 2-1 lead over the Cavs. And then the Pacers and the Knicks is tied at 2 games apiece. And the Pacers just destroyed the Knicks. I looked at the score one time yesterday. It was a 32-point lead for the Pacers. Hey, you guys out there in the X or Twitter, whatever. I feel like Triple H or Shawn Michaels. Give me a comment out here. Let me know you're out there. Who's my fans out there? Who's the people watching on the X sphere or the Twitterverse? It used to be Twitterverse. Who's the guys watching out there? Let me see a comment because I want to see if these comments work. So NBA right now, who would I think is going to win these series right now? Just going by the very little I know about each team. I'm thinking the Celtics to get by the Cavaliers. Pacers and Knicks are going to be hard to call. I'm sorry, Knicks fans, but I think the Pacers are going to take you. Timberwolves and Nuggets, got the Nuggets there. That's a good series, but Nuggets win. The Mavs and the Thunder. Thunder's the number 1 seed, but they're the youngest team in the NBA. I think the Mavs, that experience is just going to Kyrie Irving, and I get the 2 guys, the Nuggets and the Mavs mixed up. But anyway, the big guy for the Mavs, I think that's going to be the telltale sign. That's going to get them over the hump, and it's going to be a really interesting matchup if that comes up with the Mavericks and the Nuggets, and then you got the Celtics and the Pacers. You may look at a Celtics-Nuggets finals again. But anyway, some more NBA news. They had the draft lottery, and I guess the Atlanta Hawks win despite having only a 3% chance to win. So who even knows? This is the first time the Hawks won the lottery. They had a 3% chance of earning the top selection. They haven't selected first in the draft since 1975 when they picked David Thompson. The results were picks 1 through 14. Hawks, Wizards, Rockets, Spurs, Pistons, Hornets. Hornets won't get a number 1 pick ever. Trailblazers, Spurs, Grizzlies, Jazz, Bulls, the Bulls, Thunder, Kings, and Trailblazers. So Trailblazers have 2 picks in the top 14. Let me see if anybody else has. Yeah, I think that's it. They got the most in the top 14, excuse me. Pistons are the most notable follower. They had the league's worst record for a second straight season, and they ended up getting number 5 pick. So the 6th straight season, which the team with the NBA's worst record didn't get the number 1 pick. Leprechaun, hey, there's one of my. I remember you. That's a Kiss fan there. What's up? Appreciate you watching. Appreciate you commenting. Just making sure my Twitter people are out there watching. I hope you're enjoying it. She does a lot of Kiss makeup stuff, Kiss outfits. You should check her out on X if you haven't already, and you'll see some of her stuff. It's incredible what she can put together. And the Kiss fan, she's a big Kiss fan like me. Don't hold it against us. We are a Kiss through and through. But yeah, check her out on X. She does an incredible job with her makeup and doing the Kiss makeup stuff. I would have stuff all over me. Of course, wouldn't look right with a beard. But anyway, she does an incredible job. She actually had I think, and I may be wrong, you had the compilation, like a little combination of all the makeup combinations out there that you did one time, which was great. I think that was you that did that. I do pay attention sometimes, guys. All right, so Major League Baseball standings, and my Orioles, first place in the AL East, going neck and neck right now. All right, she just posted this. Look her up on Instagram as Flash Freely. You can see more there than on X. Yeah, she did do the combination. So you guys check her out. Give her a follow up there. She is hopefully a fan of the show. Hopefully a fan of the show. She's just not taking pity on me. But yeah, she's a Kiss fan, so she's family. But the Orioles right now, they're going neck and neck right now with the Yankees. Both of them 7-3 the last 10 games. They're clinging to a half-game lead over the Yankees. They play tonight against Toronto. The Guardians lead the Central by a half a game over the Twins. So and the Royals. How about the Kansas City Royals, guys? That's great. I like these. You're the best. No, you're the best. You wanted the best. You got the best. It's her. She's great. Orioles, Baltimore Orioles. It's a baseball team. Like Orioles. Are you hungry? No. Orioles like the bird. Forgive me for my southern accent. I know you're overseas, so my southern accent sounds a little out there. But yeah, I love the small market teams getting a chance, guys. I've really, anytime the small market teams can get it against a big market team, sorry guys, but I'm gonna probably be pulling for them. Mariners lead the AL West by half a game over the Rangers. Look at the Oakland A's with all the crap they've got going on right now, and don't blame these players, guys, for all the moves this owner's making. It. And somebody made a post the other day about this being so reminiscent of Major League the movie, with the owner who took over for her husband who passed away, wanting to move the team from Cleveland to Miami. You guys, if you haven't watched the movie, check out. I've got a best of series on my TikTok that you can check out some of the clips from there. You came on here because I haven't seen you in a while. I'm only here to check what's going on, but I'm more active on Facey. Okay. I got you. I appreciate you checking me out. Yeah, I've been a very busy guy. A lot going on in the last year with me, but I'm trying to keep it alive, keep the podcast alive, and trying to keep it going. I appreciate you checking in though, and when you saw me, you wanted to check on me. That's awesome. Thank you so much. You're the best. So the Oakland A's are like 3.5 games out of first place right now. They're in third place. Sorry. Yeah, Rockin' Robin's got the Orioles in there. You thought it was something about Oreos. You must love some Oreos or something. It's subliminal. I'm pretty good these days. I've got a promotion at my job. My daughter just got her 2-year degree in teaching, and she's looking for a job now. So doing pretty good. I've got some stuff going on, but I'm doing pretty good. My dad passed away about 9 months ago, which was it's still tough, but I'm getting through it. I'm hanging in there. It's all I can do. Hang in there. So looking at the NL East, the Phillies with a 2-game lead over the Braves. See, she's got me saying Orioles now. Over the Braves. Braves injuries are killing the Braves right now with the pitching staff. She does love Oreos, but didn't know Oreos existed until recently. I got you. So in the Central, Milwaukee Brewers hanging on to a half-game lead over the Cubs. Another small market team in the Brewers. The Cubs, Cubs are always everybody's, unless I don't think everybody's, but a lot of people outside that NL Central that the Cubs like to see the Cubs do well with their history. Dodgers, a 5.5-game lead over the Padres. That's about the widest margin of any of the divisions right now. So the Dodgers are 8-2 over their last 10. Yeah, I appreciate it. About my dad. He went down. He had some heart issues over the years. He fought. He was a big fighter. A lot of things that happened to him over the last, 17, 18 years would have took a lot of people out of here. And he fought against it and got better. But he just, he was 80 years old, died on my parents' anniversary. And he was, he was just tired and he was ready. He told me, he wasn't in bad shape where he wasn't. It was hard for him to get around the last months of his life, but he wasn't down until like the last month. He told me a couple weeks before he passed that he was ready to go. Hey, I know the Dodgers. Oh, you know the Dodgers. I got you. Or you got a shirt and a hat. Thanks to my old man. You're from LA. Okay. Yeah, it was kind of tough hearing that, but when I heard that, I knew it wasn't going to be long. So it's okay. He fought. He had a good life, and he was very loved by not just family but all his friends. He had a lot of friends, and hopefully I can be that way as well. So before I go, because we're getting close to the hour, I don't like to stay on here for these kind of shows, and I'll probably be on here tomorrow with this. Thanks to Leprechaun. Yeah, she's heard of Dodge. She doesn't follow sports. I got you. Some people it's not their cup of tea, but I follow sport. I do my sports podcast. I do this podcast, which this is a combination of the sports and I'm actually thinking of combining the two together to make it kind of easier, but we'll see. But yeah, it is rough. It's the toughest thing I went through, and combined with some other things, it's been a tough 9 months. And but I'm trying to hold my head up and keep going. I appreciate it. You're like I said, you're the best. Before I go, I just want to say, there's, in the last week or so, I got kind of down about the podcast. Some stuff happened, and I won't say with who. It was some social media stuff. Oh, okay. I got you. I won't say who, but social media stuff. And and I'm the kind of guy, I don't like to make waves, guys. I don't like to make anybody mad. I hate having enemies. But sometimes it happens that way. I'm not gonna sugarcoat things, but I'm not. I got down on it, but I'm not. And I got to thinking, should I keep doing this podcast? This hasn't been one of these podcasts that takes off it's took off overnight or anything like that, or it's got the big numbers or anything like that. But that's not why I do it. Look, I said all along, if I do this, and I've got to interview some incredible people. I just found out this past weekend, one of the country music singers I interviewed a couple of times, she is nominated for an award. She's going to be at the Grand Ole Opry up for an award. That's awesome. Something like that turns it around where you're like, okay, I need to get out there and do more. I need to do the podcast. I don't need to be down. I need to do the podcast. And if I'm not going to make a living off this podcast, no doubt about it. But if I get to talk to I've interviewed people from Pittsburgh Steelers, who I am a diehard Steelers fan, have been since I was a kid, to members of groups that I listened to as a kid, Quiet Riot, Night Ranger, Freely's Comet, Cheap Trick. I've interviewed a lot of these guys from, like a guy like Joe McGinnis, who plays with Chris Jericho's band Quarantine. I've interviewed a lot of great people and got to be friends with some people, close friends with some people that I would have never known about if it wasn't for this podcast. So say what you want to about this rinky-dink podcast or whatever you want to say. That's fine. Say it. I don't care. This is my podcast, and I'm going to keep it going, and I'm going to do it the way I want to. Yeah, okay. Do you remember, I'm sure you do if you love Freely's Comet, Todd Howard, who played in Freely's Comet. He was on the self-titled album and the Second Sighting album. I've had Todd on here twice. Todd actually did, it was like the 35th anniversary of Second Sighting, and we did an episode where we went track by track and talked about each song, and he told some great stories about that, his time with the band, and the late great John Reagan, who passed away. Unfortunately, that episode was planned to be John Reagan and Todd Howard, and unfortunately, a few weeks after I got them to agree to it, Mr. Reagan passed away. Rest in peace. But Todd is a great guy. I mean, he does one of my favorite songs. It's Over Now. It's one of my favorite songs of all time. Not just rock song, but just a great song, period. Yeah, I mean, Todd, and people don't realize Todd was a big part of those albums. I mean, the first two. Yeah, and look, I had just, no lie, I had maybe a week before he passed, maybe even days before he passed, and messaged him checking on it to make sure he was still up for it. I wish Freely's Comet had lasted longer as well, but things happen that way, and unfortunately it didn't work out there. I thought it was a great band. I mean, he had a great band there. Gosh, I've got let me put this up here. I don't know if you know, Todd did like 4 albums called Canvas albums, and he did like a remake of It's Over Now on that. It is so great. I got that album, and I got him autographed. He autographed them for me. Just a great guy. I've got to have him on the show again, maybe in the future. But yeah, It's Over Now is one of my favorite songs of all time. it's just incredible. But yeah, guys, like I said, I love all these podcasts. I love the Shout Out Loudcast. I listen to all the time. The podcast Rock City, Right Between the Eyes. I'm good friends with those guys over there. They came on and we did a Bon Jovi top 9. We're not enemies though. We're friends. I mean, we're all supposed to, you're not against anybody. I would never be against anybody, but some people make it hard sometimes, and that's in everyday life. Some people make it hard to be. I try to be a nice guy. I really do. But if you bring out that I tell everybody I'm like 85% my mom, I'm 15% my dad. And my dad, when you got his temper going, he would let you know. And once you get that 15% out of me, it's hard to reel back in. I will, but I'm going to be the nice guy. Steve Wright over at Potter Than Hell podcast, one of my good friends. I mean, Steve Wright, I could text him. Thank you so much. This is something I've just started doing with the podcast. Like the days that I'm off, I do like a show like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, like a wake up call. So you just talk about random stuff. The podcast, we're working on some episodes. I've got a episode with a actor from a famous movie back in the 90s that I won't give away yet, but I've had this in the bucket for a while and it's about to come out. So anyway, all you guys out there listen, Leprechaun, thank you so much for commenting. It's nice to see you again. Appreciate your comments. And appreciate your kind words. But you guys out there, you guys have a great Monday. I will be back tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock. I'm off tomorrow too. So you guys have a great rest of your Monday. I'm sorry if you're out there, you have to go to work. I'm getting ready to go get some lunch later on with my daughter. We go to our favorite place to get after lunch. We get some energy teas from a place over nearby Muffinsboro, North Carolina, called Hometown Nutrition. Those ladies over there, incredible over there. We're really good friends with them, and they do a great job and got the best drinks, energy teas. And I'm not talking about 5-hour energy drinks or shots or anything. Anything that's going to, you too, take care of yourself. I'll place that up there. Guys, make sure you check her out. Like I said, Flash Freely? Yeah, Flash Freely on Instagram. You can see incredible makeup design. But we'll head to Hometown today. It's not 5-hour energy. It's not caffeine. It's going to make your heart flutter. And they also have protein shakes over there as well. But if you just want an alternative to lunch, but we'll be checking them out today. Guys, have a great rest of your day. Be looking for some new episodes on the fly, the final score as well. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you next time on the fly, the final score, and Triple Threat main event. Forgot about the wrestling podcast. We've got another episode coming too. You guys have a great day. We'll see you next time. Peace.